This is Lady Anne, owner of Cambian Radio and hostess of the Cambian Library of Lore, and I support Tessa. As an experiencer myself, I have filed my own reports with them, and the professionalism and heart they have shown my case goes above and beyond. If you have had an experience, I cannot recommend Tessa enough.
Hi, this is Ernie Hudson, Winston Zedmore from Ghostbusters. I want to let you know that Ryan Stacy, he's created the Experiencer Support Association, TESA. You can check them out at www.tesacan.org. Now, they investigate paranormal, UFO, and provide support to experiencers. But you can check them out at, like I said, www.tesacan.org and see for yourself if they're really Ghostbusters. I can tell you this, they are a non-profit organization. Good luck, have fun, and keep it positive.
Good evening. You are listening to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, a podcast by the Experiencer Support Association. Tessa is a UFO, paranormal, and paracryptid investigation association. We investigate everything belonging to the global phenomenon linked to highly strange and unexplained experiences. We also connect experiencers with other experiencers, creating a safe, positive environment to engage and discuss this phenomenon without judgment, criticism, or retribution. From the land of the white rolling sands on the southeasterly tip of Georgian Bay, to all of you listening around the world, as we simulcast live on KBNL Radio, we salute you. If you want to go back and listen to our previous episodes, go to youtube.com/the Experiencer Support Association. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to be instantly notified when we are live, not only for these episodes, but every single element Tessa has to offer. On our website, tessacan.org, we have something for everyone. We have support for experiencers, data for independent researchers, and places to advertise for professional partners. Hello, everybody. Today is Thursday, November 11th, 2021, and I, Ryan Stacy, am your host this evening. I am a licensed private investigator, a citizen journalist, and the director of investigations for the Experiencer Support Association. Welcome to the channel, and thank you for joining us this evening. Remember, to super chat, just click the $ next to your name in the comment box, and remember that all donations go back into the mission. If you're catching this on the replay, please consider becoming a member and unlock bonus content, including behind the scenes and extended footage on our new project developments, including investigations and a bunch of other things that we've been talking about recently. Just click the big blue button that says join. Our guest tonight for season 3, episode number 36 is Steven Cambian. Steven Cambian is an experienced researcher, commenter, and reporter on paranormal subjects. His background includes being a stage magician, mentalist, musician, and content creator. His artistic works have been featured in films, in theater productions, television, radio, and more. On October 26th, I was a guest on his show, Truth Seekers. You got to know me then, and Tessa, and everything else in between. But tonight, I return the favor. And I've been seeing that he has his eye on mainstream ufologists and paranormal researchers. It doesn't seem like he believes most of what they're saying, and neither do I. So I want to know why, and I want to know who. But we'll get into that a little bit later. So for now, Steven, put on your tinfoil hat. How are you doing this evening? Your mic is off, sir. That was the best intro for you, and then the mic is
There you
on.
go.
There you go.
Okay. So good to. I just said good to see you. I'm glad to see you again, and thanks for that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing that. I do remember our podcast. That was great. That was lots of energy. We got lots of people here in the chat. Hello, everybody. Good to see you, Kevin. I'm going to shout out to you because Chantel let me know what you were going through the last couple of days. So I'm glad to see you. Thank you for being here tonight, and hello to all the other members that are here. So what we do for this show, Steven, before we get into the questions, is we do what's called an icebreaker. And that is brought to us by Tim the Demon Guy Morrison. So the way that it works, I'll just play his intro here. 1 sec. So you guys can find Tim the Demon Guy Morrison at the Demon Guy on Facebook and Demon Guy Canada on Twitter. But what he does is he preloads a question for me. It's the icebreaker. I'm going to open it and read it for the first time. As you see, it's been stapled.
Wow, this is like a game show tonight.
It's like a game show, but this is going to break. This is going to break the ice.
Oh, that's a good idea. Actually, I'm always a little nervous interviewing people about that first question.
Yeah, no, well, so am I. So am I. And this was kind of something that he thought of that would help me. And then here we are. So he says, "How would you prove you were human and not an AI?" Ooh, good question.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I have a background in computer science, so this is right up my alley. Like, I think I would. I mean, there's a Turing test. I could certainly pass a Turing test, and a lot of AIs may not be able to do that. And for those that don't know, that's just a test. That's kind of a philosophical thing. Okay. Once AIs can pass Turing tests, they'll be indistinguishable from human consciousnesses. So I don't know. I display emotions. I guess maybe that would be one way to prove I wasn't an AI.
Well, yeah. That's interesting because you would know because you understand computers. I, on the other hand, am unable to answer that question. Other than the probably the most cliche thing is saying I'm not a robot. But that's what the robot would say. Excuse me, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting philosophical question. I once had a college professor ask me how I would prove that I existed.
Okay.
That's another one. Like, this is something to think about. It's hard to answer these questions.
Yeah, strange. All right. So the first question for me, as I ask everybody on the show and leading into your bio, just simply, why are you the way that you are? So how did you become this guy that you are today, this reporter in ufology and paranormal studies, magician, mentalism? Where do you want to start? And let's take me through it.
I got interested in UFOs because when I was 10 years old, I saw a UFO myself, and it was elliptical and a few hundred feet above me in the forest. When I was 10 years old, it was completely silent. It was dull silver gray. I couldn't make out any distinguishable windows or portals, but it always intrigued me, this experience that I had, and I wanted to know more. I was convinced that these may be aliens that were visiting us, or it may have been an alien spacecraft that I saw. Years later, I would come to change my opinion and think that maybe what I saw was some sort of black budget project, because I saw it right near something called McGuire Air Force Base, literally 2 miles from their runways. And so that always weighed heavily on me. And then I got to talk to some people that worked on that base once, years later, who told me that there were some strange projects flying in and out of McGuire from the West Coast. They would fly from the West Coast, land here on the East Coast, fuel up, and fly back. So that always made me wonder. But I got started because of this experience that I had. And I just started reading everything that I could find, every book, every magazine article, every newspaper article, trying to find out more.
Was that the only experience though? So you were 10 years old and then you started, or did years pass?
Yeah, no, maybe. No, I pretty much started trying to find, going to the library and trying to find books. Back then it was pre-internet. So, uh, you know, yeah, I start right away collecting materials. And if I heard about like a story about a UFO in a newspaper, I would clip it out. I used to have a binder full of them, and I got started from there. I mean, there was a time when I was, I guess, later on as a teenager and then early into adulthood, that I used to listen to listen to Art Bell and listen to everybody that talked about UFOs that I could consume. And I believed most of them. But the more that I started to dig into some of these people, the less of a believer I became.
Okay, so we're going to get into that. So that was a little shorter than I was hoping for, but this
Yeah,
is the
I don't have much.
That's okay,
I
but this is the
saw
meat
a
and
strange thing. It got
this
me
is going to be
started. Yeah.
that's okay though. Any paranormal experiences? Any ghosts? Any
I
goblins?
I once lived across the street from a graveyard. It was my first home with my
Okay.
wife. And we used to joke that the neighbors were great because they were so quiet. We were right across from a graveyard. And there was great parking for being in the city. So we heard knocking and weird noises and voices and whispers and all kinds of things. And for the whole time we lived there. And I eventually brought in a friend who has ghost hunting equipment, and he's into that. And he found that the home had unusually high levels of magnetic fields, especially where we were like hearing voices or hearing knocks, And so I kind of chalked it up to maybe it wasn't paranormal, maybe it was these high magnetic fields were causing some kind of weird brain activity in both of us, and we thought we were hearing things or seeing things, but yeah, it was kind of like.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was before I could really dig deep into it more. We were out of there. We only lived there for like 2 years, so I kind of just put it aside and forgot about it. But that experience of finding out that maybe what I was hearing or seeing or experiencing had a scientific basis and not a pseudoscience or paranormal basis made me a lot more cautious when dealing with people that are having these experiences, because I don't think that it's always ghosts or demons. I think sometimes it may be naturally occurring phenomenon that can cause changes in the brain or alter brain waves and play with your mind.
Could it be natural or could it be government? It could be.
It could be. Yeah, I mean, there's things like the God hat, which makes me nervous. I'm sure that if they could do the God hat, which is this helmet they put on you with these magnetic imaging things to put you in a certain brain state, then why couldn't they just project those waves at a distance? And this may be what we're seeing in some of these claimed embassy attacks. Is some form of psychotronic weapon, which used to be a conspiracy theory, but here we are.
Well, see, that's the interesting thing too. The way you described your paranormal activity, and is essentially like the way that we are with our ultra spectrum. We think that it may be, and as I explained on your channel, all of it connected. So like calling it a ghost, calling it an alien doesn't matter. It's just you're looking at the characteristics, and when you looked at the characteristics of it, that's when you started to question that it didn't fit within that stereotype. But could they both be the same thing and we're just mislabeling it? Could it all be together, all one big massive project?
Could be, and it could be, that these strange images and these or these strange magnetic fields or microwave energy or these scalar waves, it could be all related. Yeah.
Anything's possible. That's the thing, right? So like all these things. So with that, that's actually a good segue into what I really want to get into. But before I get into that, because the first question I'm going to ask into that is going to make or break my heart. But we'll get into that. But you mentioned that when you were listening to Art Bell, there were some people that you trusted and some people that you didn't. I want to know who you trusted. Who do you trust right now, or then, or anyone at all? Do you trust anyone?
That's a difficult question.
Don't say who you don't, because that's going to take up the whole show.
Yeah, it'll take me too long. I will tell you this: that people ask me all the time, "Who is it that you listen to, Steven, and trust is telling us the truth?" And to be honest, I have a very short list that I could count on one hand. I like John from the Black Vault because I think he's so tenacious. that he will go to the ends of the earth to get the information that he's looking for, and he will
Mm-hmm.
exhaust all leads in his pursuit of that. And I know how hard it is to literally spend 2 weeks on something, exhausting every single lead. And from what I've seen, John always does that. He is not afraid to put in the time and the energy. And I also think that he's very grounded and sort of science-based, and he's not so willing to just go to the woo right away to explain things or jump on the believer train. He's very measured and cautious. That's how I would describe him in what he says publicly about what he believes about each of the things he investigates.
And that's because he's actively getting the information, and you don't want to, bite the hand that feeds you, right?
Yeah.
So
facts in hand before mouth in gear.
That's right. And I can relate to that when I get my Canadian documents and other people are asking me, hey, are you willing to sign this petition that says fight your government and we want disclosure? And I said, no. And they're like, why? What do you mean? This is what you're fighting for? It's like, yeah, it is, but I'm not fighting them for it. And because I haven't fought them for it, they've been giving me the info. So and with John, I agree with you. I've never had the chance to talk to him simply because he's in circles that don't like me. But
yeah, everybody's got to pick a team. Maybe pick the wrong team. Oh, the other guy I really like I like Jeremy Rise, alien scientist, and I've been getting to know M Seeker of Truth. I like him, and Alien Addict Ali. I just like him because he'll straight tell you, he's like, I don't think I believe any of these people. I don't believe in these aliens. I don't believe in these stories, but I love this drama between people. And I want to talk about that and the interpersonal drama. And at least he's honest in his coverage, Yeah, but Jeremy Rise is interesting too, because he spent years chasing anti-gravity science and trying to figure out how these things work.
I'm making a list because I apart from John, I haven't heard of these guys. So I'm going to look. That's why I asked you who you trust, because I'm going to kind of look.
Yeah, you can come back and tell me what you think after.
Well, yeah, no, that's all good, because everyone has their own groups. Everyone has their cliques. Like you have your following, we have ours. Tonight we're bringing them together.
I want to mention we're doing a simulcast too. So
yeah, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
This is on both of our channels, so that we can amplify our voices.
I didn't even know that was possible, and I appreciate that. So our ratings are going to be super high tonight, and that's thanks to you. I appreciate that. But that's the thing, right? That's what we got to do. Is everyone's got their circles, everyone's got their little clubs. But we're all fighting for the same thing, and the problems that I'm facing is we have our group, but our group is welcoming anyone that's willing to sit down and have a conversation. But there's a lot of challenges to get people to sit in that chair and talk. And with that, even when it's like, okay, they're busy, so let's give them something specific that's interesting to them, that it might get their attention. I've tried so many ways to give these people exactly what it is they're missing, exactly what it is they say they want, hoping that gets their attention, so that way I get them in the chair, and I can confirm it got their attention, but I'm still not getting them in the chair. So there's these circles and these other people that are connected to other people. It's kind of been the theme today. I've been talking about it. I just learned, some people in my circles have dark past and stuff, and it's coming to the surface, and association with that is starting to affect us and things like that. So that's in general terms. So I want to move up to the main level, which with all these groups, no matter what friends we have and differences of opinions, is the main what I call the mainstream ufologists, or the mainstream paranormal researchers. Because I don't think any paranormal are in the mainstream, but let's just in case there are, I don't want to offend.
I'm sure that I would count somebody like Zach Baggins or some of the top tier ghost hunters as sort of in that ballpark.
The ones that are on TV, the ones that are always in the news, the ones that are always doing the programs. So that master circle, or that circuit, and there's even circuits in between. So they're playing both sides. So I know that you've been doing a lot of research, and I've been seeing just your not your videos because I've been busy. I do apologize, but I've been just
No,
seeing
quite
your
all right.
posts.
I can't catch up with everybody I want
I
to
know,
either. It
but I've been
bothers me
seeing your
sometimes.
Twitter post that kind of gives me the gist of it. This person is not this, and this person's this, and this person's that. It piques my interest. So I want to start the floor with asking your opinion on Richard Dolan. And the reason for that, and I'll give you some, and I want you to be completely honest, is because I like Dolan. I've always liked Dolan. I've met Dolan many times. He had me on his show. He's actually responsible for the little bit of a pick-me-up that I got at the beginning when I was with MUFON. I am grateful for that opportunity, but I haven't had interaction with him for such a long time. I've tried to make contact with him. He's in these circles. So I'm willing, I want to have a conversation with someone who may actually know why. And if you have some information which was alluded to in your posts, I want to hear it now, and I want to have a conversation about it.
Yeah. Well, one of the people growing up that was an early hero of mine, besides Stanton Friedman, was Richard Dolan. And I read his first couple of books that were so well researched and science-based and fact-based, and here's the evidence, and just a treasure trove of data and evidence. And I suppose over the years I've watched him degrade into basically the level of respectability that the National Enquirer or a rag tabloid has. He'll just sell anything now. So, and this is something that I see has been common with a lot of researchers. They start out with their heart in the right place, and maybe they stray as the money gets bigger or whatever. I really can't speak to his motivations. But what I can speak to is that he has been involved in several 100% hoaxes. Most recently, there's a whole lot of controversy about the CIA deathbed confession video, because I came out very strongly and said the source that Richard Dolan is interviewing is fake. It's a 100% fake source. And I didn't release much of the information about how I knew that. But recently I released one data point. And it turns out that Richard Dolan interviewed a man in 2014 that died in 2008. So I want to know, how did he interview a dead guy in 2014 that died in 2008?
How did you confirm that he died in 2000?
Well,
do you have an obituary?
Well, it's better than that. The source originally came from Linda Moulton Howe.
Okay.
So Linda Moulton Howe, I have several sources of her, both on her own website and blog, reporting that the guy died in 2008, and also in media appearances where she mentioned, oh, what a shame, this great man. She really had a lot of respect for this source of hers that she claimed worked for the CIA and was involved with aliens in Area 51. So she mentions it on a public appearance saying, oh yeah, it's really a shame that he passed away a month ago or something. And this again was in 2008. And the whole time that this story has been, they took the source from Linda Moulton Howe, and people are asking me to explain this. And my sort of defense is, it's not my place to explain it. It's Richard Dolan's place to explain it. I've raised the questions, and Dolan originally said that he would look into this and make a statement of his own. I gave him 2 months to do so. Before I started releasing, I've released the first data point proving that is a completely and totally fake person that he's.
Now, did the interview just get released in 2014, or
it was both? It was both recorded and released in 2014.
And
I verified that.
Confirm that. Huh.
Yeah. Now further, one of the other problems I have with Richard Dolan is we can see there's him with one story based on one anonymous source that we can pick apart and say, there's something not right here. Next, he's pushing these Wilson documents, which he's relying on more than 10, I believe, anonymous sources to prop up that and prove that it might be real, it must be real. But in order for us to believe the Wilson documents are real, we have to believe Richard Dolan is on the up and up with some 8 or 10 anonymous sources that he's using to sell that story, when we can sort of display what happens when we catch him with one story with one anonymous source. And my thing is, I understand the need for anonymous sources in any journalistic endeavor, But if you've got a proven track record of maybe using a dead man as a source, and that guy's anonymous, then maybe the next time you sell a story and you're depending on 10 anonymous or 8 or 10 anonymous sources to sell that story, we should have the right to say that's too many anonymous sources. You have to release some of these people so that we can verify that this story is accurate before you continue to profit from it. But that's really not what we get. You know?
So I can speak to anonymous sources. So I mean, with experiencers, like they're all anonymous to me. Sure. Some do want to come forward and all that other stuff as well. But the best way, I mean, I work with them to a point that should I be challenged, there is a certain level of information that I've been permitted to release at the appropriate time to prove authenticity. You know, because I can simply just say, yeah, this is, I believe this is what happened. I investigated it. And somebody can just be like, oh yeah, the same thing that you've just said, because I claim anonymous source. But I have that contingency plan in place for someone to challenge that. The journalists use anonymous sourcing and all these other things. The problem I have with that being a scapegoat or a very easy term to use is I've proven in some cases that this anonymous source is the same source, the same person or the writer, and it's just an opinion in which they want to convey their own.
They want to project it on somebody else.
Exactly,
yeah. Like
but
he
then
said that, not me.
Yeah, and it's a really, really dirty trick to use. And with this anonymous sourcing, for me, on an evidence point of view, it's not usable information. So if you don't believe what Dolan is saying from the source,
that's another thing. The actual interview, we can pick apart everything this man said and prove that there is an incredible amount of historical inaccuracies.
Right.
For example,
that's inaccurate.
Yeah. For example, he said he flew to Area 51 on a certain plane. And you'll have to forgive me. It's been months since I've gone through this whole debunk. We have a whole file of the debunk of this guy and everything that he said. There's just too many historical inaccuracies. He said he flew on a plane to Area 51 at a year that they didn't use that plane in the Air Force. It didn't exist yet or something like that. And again, you know, he claimed that the Men in Black came after him in these big Cadillacs at a time when all federal employees had already transitioned to SUVs, not black Cadillacs. There's all these little minutia. If we pick apart this man's narrative and all of the historical inaccuracies, plus the fact that Linda Moulton Howe reported him dead in 2008, raise a lot of red flags. There's also the fact that I believe that I found the man that they actually interviewed in this 2014 interview. He lived 10 miles from the motel where the interview took place. He was arrested for, well, I'm not even going to get into that, but not a credible guy. And why is he pretending to be somebody that died in 2008? There's just too many questions about this story. And again, it's not my place to explain these inconsistencies, the historical inaccuracies of most of what this anonymous deathbed guy said. It's really up to the people who made the money selling the story, and that thing went viral. It was all over the internet.
Well, that's kind of what I was going to say. Like if the source is the information is not accurate, okay, if that was Dolan or anonymous source or Dolan himself, if Dolan believes the non-credible source, then that also shows that he's willing to accept not credible information.
Well, Interestingly, he stood there in front of cameras and he said, this man is who he says he is, as he's interviewing a guy that apparently already died. So, I'm sorry. He's got to explain this. I can't explain it, how he interviewed a guy that was already dead. I can't explain. And that, coupled with the historical inaccuracies of much of what this person described,
right?
It's just not credible. And then we have Jeremy Corbell once did reply to one of my video posts and said something like, this is attention-seeking BS. I vetted his DD-214. And everybody said, great, let's see it. And now he's going to hide behind his journalistic integrity and say, no, I promised that I would keep that anonymous. First of all, the guy's already dead. And second of all, you said you vetted the DD-214 of a guy that you interviewed in 2014 that was dead in 2008. So was it the guy you interviewed in 2014's DD-214, or was it the original source from Linda Moulton Howe's DD-214 that died in 2008? You see how this is just too problematic for me. The story is just not
too many people in the kitchen. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So I got to interrupt this. Mr. DB Cooper 77, you are new to me. You're not on our channel, so you must be on his channel. I'm not sure if that super chat was for us or for him, because I don't know.
No, all the ones that you're seeing in your chat are for you. I'm not.
Well, then thank you very much. Thank you so much for that. He says, to be fair, Dolan, Greer, etc. They praise the cash, bro. So I mean, that's motive intent. What we all do. So I mean, in your opinion? And maybe we'll do Greer. Do you have any more dirt on Dolan? Do you got anything else on Dolan?
I got a lot, but I'm still working on some of it. So,
well,
we are going to be doing a deep dive into the Wilson documents, and I'm trying my very best to.
And that's what you. Well, if that's what he's talking about, then you look at those documents.
Yeah, that's
the source.
Yes.
What he's doing is he's speculating on documents. Everyone can speculate on the UAP documents. You know, if you want to formulate your own opinion, go to the source. Doesn't matter what these people say; it's their own opinion. So, what was I going to say?
I think we're going to be doing a very deep dive on the Wilson documents. But
what about the abduction video? Isn't Dolan kind of wasn't he involved in the reveal of that ET autopsy thing?
Oh, the original alien autopsy? I'm sure he's talked about it, but I don't think that he really profited from it or pushed it too much.
Well, he's mentioned it to me a few times and saying that he says that was a hoax. So what I find was interesting, to piggyback off of what you've said, is if he's lying about something based on your evidence, and then he's saying that somebody else is lying based on their evidence. Is this is who's telling the truth? Is this a game? Cooper, Mr. DB Cooper 77, thank you so much for that other one. I appreciate that. A lot in speculation, true. So yeah, my opinion would be, or I guess, what is your opinion on which side to believe? Can you give them?
It looks like our simulcast got killed somehow. I don't think it's online. I don't know how that happened.
Okay, well that explains why everybody's here.
No, it's quite all right. It's all right. I've done enough videos this week. We'll just keep them on here.
It's all
I'll
good.
tweet out your link then right now.
Okay.
I'll tweet that out and try to get everybody back in here. Well, that's so weird. It just must have killed it. Yeah.
I don't know. That's just so weird, I guess. All right, so let's keep this going. Let's go to Greer then. How about Stephen Greer? What are your opinions on
I've got a lot more information on him. Stephen Greer once raised $400,000 with which he claimed that he was going to create an open source free energy device with the $400,000. It was something called the Orion Project. He started a nonprofit 501c3 for it, and everything looked like, wow, this is great. He's starting a charity, and the purpose of the charity is to collect money, do research, and give the world a free energy device. And he really pumped this thing for quite a long time, soliciting donations. And then the 501c3 just went defunct. He never produced a single device, let alone a working one, as he promised he would. So really, we're left with a lot of questions about that, right? And next, he has collected millions of dollars in crowdfunding for his documentaries. And, I try not to be too judgmental, but I do know a lot about video editing and stuff like that. I asked around with some people that I know who make documentaries, one who worked for Public Broadcasting Channel 12 in the United States. Everybody's familiar with PBS. And he made documentaries. And, I said, does it cost $1 million to make a documentary? And he said, well, it depends. Probably not. No, most budgets are nowhere near that. But if they have a lot of special effects or stuff in there, I don't know. But then I sent him the documentary that Stephen Greer collected over $1 million for. And he said, there's no way that he spent that kind of money on this. It's people sitting being interviewed, which means one or two cameras, a sound guy, and he said that he could have done that whole documentary in a month or two. And that does not cost $1 million.
No.
So there's this sort of, to me, there is this underlying profit motive with him where he's going to collect $1 million, spend, let's just be generous and say he spent $100,000 to make the documentaries, and then he pockets $900,000. Then he does it again, and now his latest documentary, I believe he raised $450,000 to create. This one he gives away for free.
Yeah.
But still, it's not something that cost him that much money to create.
But it's not his fault for putting that out there. Whose fault is it? It's all the people that give him the money.
Yeah.
If we didn't give him the money, he wouldn't, so that's the marketing and that's the mission and that's the cause. A lot of people believe in that. So he takes the money, he makes the movie, he does whatever he needs to do with it. People are handing that over. Like your Mr. T. Cooper 7. Thank you again. He says,
I'm not sure what I would do. Yeah.
Yeah. You said,
somebody gave me $1 million,
$2 million, to stop his research. Is that possible?
Oh, yeah, that's another thing. We gave him an award for boldest liar because this man claims that the United States government first threatened to kill him, then offered him $2 billion if he would just shut up about those aliens. And he's too much of a, he's got too good of ethics and morality to take a deal like that, so he wouldn't do it. And we're talking about a guy who used a dead baby to scam people for alien money. So to me, I don't see him turning down $2 billion.
That's serious. Yeah, that's a little ET creature. Do you think was a baby?
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. He knew. Talk to the scientist that was doing the analysis. He knew that. Let's say, for example, I don't remember the exact date that he released the video, the documentary, but he knew from the scientists doing the genetic analysis that within a very short time, let's say a month, 2 max, from the date that he decided to release this documentary, he would have the results of all of that scientific research, of all the DNA tests. If you thought you had an alien, wouldn't you just wait 2 more months to release that documentary and put all the proof it was an alien in the documentary? No. He purposefully released this documentary before the results were back so that he could get that money grab. And then he went on to claim that the CIA got to the guy who did the scientific analysis and forced him or threatened him to say it was just a human. It's just, I mean, ridiculous.
that's a sequence of events. Those events could be true. I mean, but the way they're lined up, it's definitely suspicious. I would agree to that. But like that's the testimony thing. So to make that simple to me, like I'd be like, why would somebody go through those lengths? And obviously the answer I know you'll say is the money, because money is a motive there. I mean, for me with Greer, I do like his idea of the one group, one person, one universe, one people, and to encourage people to make contact, make your own groups. You okay? You just, all right.
I've got a terrible cold, so forgive me if I mute.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay.
Cough up a lung.
It's all good. So I do like his message in terms of encouraging people to make contact. And so it's a marketing funnel to buy his app to get those tones and all that other stuff. But it is also convenient. But you can get those elsewhere. But that message itself, I think, is harmless. So and I kind of feel like,
well, see, everybody has a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion is that if you're telling people buy my app for $10 and you're going to contact alien civilizations with my app for $10, and I buy that app and I don't contact the aliens, then to me that's consumer fraud.
Well, that's exactly. It's all that part. That's where kind of you gotta look at it. But I mean, is there an honest way to make money? Let's go there. What would be the best way to market what Greer is doing, since we're talking about him? If you were him and you had that same theology, how would you?
I don't know, because I wouldn't do many of the things that he did, including using a dead baby. I wouldn't use a dead baby or a human corpse for anything.
Can it be confirmed, or is that just an assumption?
What's that? That it's a baby?
That it's a baby. Has that been confirmed?
No, yeah. It came back that it was a fetus.
Okay.
So a human fetus with many deformities, genetic deformities that caused the unusual skull type and bone density and whatever other deformities that it had. So if you think about it, this is a very sad human that
Mhm.
was either born, depending on who you ask, or unborn, that had all these deformities, and then
Mhm.
somehow got mummified out in the desert somewhere, somehow.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just think you should bury it and leave it alone. You shouldn't go try to make $1 million claiming it's an alien. But that's
Mhm.
my morals and my ethics, not his.
Mhm.
So maybe I shouldn't judge.
Well, no,
You
no,
know?
it's a good point, because like if it, like MD MD Mr. DB Cooper 77. I love the idea too, but it seems like marketing to me, not necessarily a push for proof. Exactly. So we have to market, we have to market too. I mean, there are different ways. Like,
Mm-hmm.
this is marketing. You are funding. You are single-handedly. I will tell you this right now. You were the most paying customer we've ever had in this entire show. So you right now are are part of the solution / part of the problem, because like and what I mean by that, it's the people that are buying, and because the people believe in the message. So if can any of the people in ufology that charges for books, that charges for admission to events, that says, come over and meet and sign my autograph and all that other stuff, and people are handing all their money out for that, is there a time when that's acceptable for
Sure.
those,
Sure.
yeah.
I think that there's a way. I have nothing against people making money at
Mm-hmm.
all. I mean, we're all trying to make money. We're all dependent
Mm-hmm.
on having some form of financial income. It's just the problem that I have is, for example, if you're making money and you're interviewing a dead guy making money, telling people that this guy worked for the CIA and was, all of this crazy story, then I have a problem with that, because to me it's just a form of consumer fraud, because you're presenting these stories as true stories. And if it can be easily proven that this is not a true story, then to me that's immoral and unethical. And honestly, this UFO world is filled with people that are using, let's see, there's people using rapists as sources for alien stories right now in ufology. There's people using or who have used child molesters in the past as sources. There's documentary companies that made an entire documentary based on Stan Romanek's testimony, who was then convicted for being a kiddie porn aficionado. And they won't take that DVD off of Hulu and Netflix or wherever they're making money from it. There's just some things in this thing that are so slimy and to me so immoral that it makes me kind of sick.
Well,
I'm like, this is gross,
but that's the other thing too, is like, 'cause some people are bad, some people are good, some people are good, then they become bad, and some people are
Yeah.
bad and then they become good.
There's a lot of gray. I agree.
There's a
There's a
lot of
lot of
gray
gray. It's
area.
not
Like,
black
I
and
mean,
white.
like
Yeah.
it's that's why it's not that I support Greer. So what I'm saying is I like his philosophy. Whether the intention behind it is a charade or not, that's subjective. It can go either way. But
No, I believe he may believe what he says, but
it's a good model. It's a good belief. Now, it's not the only belief. He's not the only person who thinks like that. It's just he's the current one marketing that. And I mean, like Dolan, like all these guys in their prime. This is what I kind of look back to, like, like Stanton Freeman. Like, I mean, before I met him too, before actually I saw him, I sat with him at Alien Cosmic Expo the night before he left and passed on that plane.
oh wow,
Like,
yeah, well, I
part
would
of the
like to,
group of
yeah, I would
people.
like to spend that last couple of days with him
Yeah, but
myself.
we didn't
So.
know that was going to happen.
Yeah, of
Right?
course. Yeah,
Nobody
you
knew,
never
right?
know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a whole life of things. Some people like him, some people don't. But what they got to look at, and what I'm looking at now, is his files. His research and what they did do, and all, because it's ugly. This world is this mess of ufology can go back and forth if money is the goal. So if money is the goal, if there's a place to manipulate the people, and there's opportunity for the people to pay into some sort of help because they don't have answers, how do we stop that? Because, like, you creating awareness and talking about it, I like that. That's why I reached out to you. That's why we're having this conversation. And I just kind of want to figure out what the solution is, because we need to get on top and tell people the truth. If you have the evidence, we need to get that on mainstream media. So how do we do that? And
yeah, lately I've been learning that the unfortunate thing is that biggest bullhorn wins. So these people basically are, a lot of these people that I report very true and accurate things, and that could be dangerous. For example, I've been threatened to be sued twice, and then somebody else just yesterday sent me another legal threat letter claiming they're suing somebody else, and they want me, that's a source of mine, and they want me to preserve all of my electronic communications. They sent me this, angry letter ordering me not to delete any messages because they may subpoena those messages. And that's these are private messages between a source and me. So
for disclosure, and you tell them to disclose their evidence first, and then whatever they provide you is what you comment on. You don't give them anything. If they're going to sue you,
I'm not giving them anything.
You ask them for their evidence, and then you respond, because if they
some of this is just
they'll have the conversation too, because if they don't have it, right, then that might be a scare tactic for you to reveal stuff that they don't have.
No, and I won't tell them anything. Some of it is just some of it is just threats and intimidation, because they want to shut me up.
Mr. Cooper, Ryan, all we need is one case to be true for the phenomenon to be real. If not, everyone is lying. I just can't believe that. No, I don't know if you heard me on any of my podcasts before, but I keep saying that. All I need is one case. And we don't need, I agree with you. Like, as soon as one person can definitively solve this riddle, and we just got to give it to all these people and get it to the top, then everybody that's been in this yo-yo just goes down the drain. But that's for the mainstream game, right?
Sure. Yeah.
We're not in mainstream. We're not Lee Guy, thank you for that. We're not
Thanks,
not, it's like Hollywood. Let's look at it. Hollywood for ufology. Not everyone can be an actor. Not everyone can be in the movies. We all idolize these actors, and we talk and we follow their lives, and we do all that stuff, and we pay for the movies, and we go and see them, and we watch the TV shows, we subscribe to the channels. A lot of that stuff is similar to ufology. But then the upcoming actors and all these other things try and strive to get to Hollywood so they can make the money and be on the big screen and do all that other stuff. So do we have to be on mainstream in order to be successful? Like, should that be a goal?
I think this has always been a very underground thing. I mean, even let's take, for example, Art Bell in his heyday, in his prime, at the height of his listenership. He had millions and millions of listeners on AM radio, was perhaps one of the most popular AM radio programs ever. But at the time that he was at the height of his fame and popularity and success, if you would ask 10 people in the United States who Art Bell was, nobody would know. Nobody would even know. It's very similar for this. I believe this is a strange subculture that some people are very plugged into and connected into, like you and I. But, go ask your neighbors if they know who Richard Dolan or Stephen Greer are. They don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing too that I'm getting here in Canada, because there's other people like, oh, have you heard of this person and this person? And you should idolize this person. And then why is that person famous? Okay, well, let me take a look at their work. And then 5 years later, I give that information to a journalist, and the journalist pulls the plug on them. And I did say this morning I would stop shitting on that guy, but that kind of I just won't say his name. So give me that today, guys. I won't say his name, but you guys all know who I'm talking about. But but that's perspective, right? So what's good for those groups and those people? There's all these different religions, different gods for different reasons.
Becomes a religion to some people, actually.
So how does someone like me or you or anyone who's actively trying to get answers solve it with all these struggles?
Yeah, I mean, I've been struggling with some of this monetization issues myself, because you know, I did this for free for 5 or 6 years, and only recently,
Thank you for
yeah,
doing that. That's a
only
service.
recently,
That's
yeah,
service.
thankless job, right?
I
But
know it's a service, though.
only recently did I turn on those super chats, and it seemed like as soon as I did, a lot of people came with knives out at my back, like you're a sellout now, and like.
Yeah,
To
but
me, it's like I did it for 5 years, 6 years for free. You know, I'm
yeah,
going
but
to take a couple bucks.
you're still
Now.
doing it for free. We're not doing it for the super chats. You know, if the person decides to super chat,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, yeah. My
on
content
them.
is 100%
And
free. If people choose
and
to
that's
contribute, they
validation.
can.
Thank you
Yeah.
so again, Stephen or Mr. DB Cooper
Yeah, Mr. DB
77.
Cooper is one of my generous friends. Yeah,
Well,
great
thank
guy.
you for
Thank
being
you,
generous
Cooper.
to us
Yeah.
tonight. So what did you say? What is your favorite case that leads to you to believe the phenomenon is real? Ooh, that's a good question. Stephen, you go first.
One of my favorites. Well, I'm sure my very favorite is Roswell, just because the volume of material that's available for you to read, digest, and look deeper into is so voluminous. There's just more books. There's more books written on the Roswell case than any other UFO case in history. And there's more material. There's more documentaries on Roswell than any other single UFO event in history. So that's my favorite. And my second favorite has always been the Cash Landrum case, because these people experienced what may be, or the doctor believed, were radiation burns, which is very interesting to me. They encountered a UFO and then they got radiation poisoning. So there's physical trace evidence, you know, on the vehicle. They had blisters and burns from what the doctor believed was radiation burns, and other physical evidence, you know. And then there's also this strange event that happened, that they dug up like miles of the road where the event happened. They dug up and replaced, not once, but twice in a few years. And some people said, at least, that was because of the radiation all over that road. So they dug away some of that radioactive material, got rid of it, and replaced it with new material. And then apparently some people claim they had to do it a second time because the radiation levels were still too high. To me, that's an amazing mystery. And to this day, the original witnesses, those that are still remaining, stick by their story 100%. And the story hasn't changed. It hasn't, you know, morphed or been added to like so many other stories do. And they haven't really sought to profit. They've participated with some people that were wanting to talk about their story, but they never went out there looking for money for their story, which to me is a good indicator of honesty and integrity. Where the people that are right there with their hand out looking to get paid for their story, to me, they're a little less credible.
Well, it's a way to justify the time and the energy that is sacrificed to do what we do. I mean, if you know, I mean, it's not a crime. It's just, it's not going to get you. You're not going to find the answers in a book. I was going to, but I mean, I'm kind of putting my foot in my mouth here, but I'm right case reviews, as you know. Right?
Yeah, wait, ain't you selling a book, you hypocrite?
But that's a case. It's a different type, because it shows you, you know, what I know and what I don't know. So like, that's education. I'm educating.
Yeah, actually, I got your book, but I haven't. I looked through it a little bit, but I got busy. I got sidetracked by my kids, so I put it.
Yeah, well, thank you for that.
You know what I do?
Oh, you froze.
Books or whatever, things that I want to read, and when I have time, usually at the cabin, I take my pile of reading material. So I'll be getting through that soon.
I give you full permission for you to do one of your rants on my book, like be good and bad. I mean, no, don't.
From what I saw so far,
don't hold back. Don't hold back.
No, from what I saw so far, I like it. From what I saw so far, I like it.
So I want to answer. So Steve Scott, sorry, Mr. DB Cooper 77. I want to answer your question as well. So because that was to both of us. But particularly, you said, what is your favorite case that leads you to believe the phenomenon is real? So Canada has a lot of cases like Falcon Lake, Shag Harbor, that are like, those are well-known documented cases. Actually, right here, the Guardian case. This is an RCMP investigative report. It's 13 pages long of a review of a video evidence that the RCMP has. I'm working on releasing that. you know, the investigative process is kind of the things that makes me think that something's happening. But the belief comes from my civilian work when I'm working with experiencers who have experiencer tests, who are not, who don't have the opportunity to be viewed as these messiahs or these the ones who don't have the chance to be heard, and the ones that we're helping with the Experiencer Support Association, that's what makes me believe the phenomenon is real, because I get the social interaction, I get the feelings, I get the emotion, I get the data, I get to work with them privately. I'm not working with them publicly. What becomes public is the book at the end of the year, but that's a joint release with the people that confided in me. And that's also used as a strategy together to push the movement forward. And so for me, I believe that these people believe in the phenomenon, and because I can't disprove that their events are not normal, I have to believe that it's real, but I just don't know what it is. You said phenomenon. Right. So we call it the ultra spectrum, where it could be aliens, it could be ghosts, it could be monsters, it could be all of the above. But it doesn't matter what you want to call it. What matters is we get it off the chest and we break it down and we figure out, what's real and what's not real, and make sure what you think happened to you is what actually may have happened to you, and then the pieces that are left. So I learn a lot more by doing this privately than I ever have done publicly. And that's a challenge too, because if I spent all the time that I've done privately marketing myself, I'd be super famous, possibly, but I wouldn't have any data or to prove it. You know what I mean? So what I kind of leading into is these people spend a lot of time talking, and they go around talking, and they make a lot of money talking. And as you said earlier, where's the proof? Where's the proof? Right.
Yeah.
No, thank you, Mr. I'm just going to call you Cooper for now on, for the rest of the show. Thank you, Cooper. And thank you guys for those stickers. I'm glad you're having fun here. This is the most interaction we've ever had. So I appreciate that.
I'm glad that we could bring some people. I wish I would have known that the simulcast would have borked, so I would have just been pumping your link for the last couple of days, but it is what it is.
Don't worry, man. It's all good.
I've never seen that happen before. Normally I set it and forget it, and
they're still here. They found it. They figured it out. They're smarter than you. They're smarter than you give them credit.
Oh, it's on my Twitter. It's on my Twitter. Your link's on my Twitter too, and I just tweeted it back out. So
all right. So we're going to get into a commercial break soon, but before we do that commercial break,
you have commercials here? You sell out.
No, well, they're not.
I'm just teasing.
They're not paid commercials. There are commercials. It's the only opportunity we have to market ourselves to your audience by playing
I've been joking. I would just joked on my show recently that if my audience wants a stripper pole, I will do that. I will put one in, and we'll have.
Yeah, that was the intro to your video. I remember that. I was sitting there watching that. I was like, "This is is this going to get worse?"
Trying to get that past my wife's wife. Yeah. I'm just going to put a stripper pole on both sides of me, and we'll move the cameras back. Get some girls. I think that might improve the views. I don't know.
Oh man, are we having fun tonight? That's good.
And actually I needed this, Ryan, because I've had a bang up hell of a week, and this is the last thing I have to do, and I'm done till Monday. I'm not doing anything else for my show or Conspiracy Land until Monday. I've got a lot of stuff to do.
It's good to take a break from that, and I'm very happy that I'm able to do that for you, and thank you so much for being here. It's today's been a day of people telling me that they're glad that these opportunities are here, because I've been feeling bad all day, because I wanted to cancel today because today's Remembrance Day and Veterans Day and all that stuff. So heavy stuff this morning.
Thanks to all the veterans for your service and keeping us
thank you.
Free and safe and
So that was a pretty heavy morning for those who did our video, but but I've been hearing that all day. I guess it's people like us, like you, these people who show up. They like, whether we're right or wrong. Nobody's alone right now, right? And that's what it's all about. So we're going to pause right here. But we'll continue after a message from our professional partners. Also, if you are listening to this live on KPNL Radio or future podcasts, head over to youtube.com/the Experiencer Support Association to see the video that goes with this audio. Remember, you're listening to Beyond the Tinfoil Hat, a podcast by the Experiencer Support Association. And we'll be right back. But I'm just going to say, due to the topic of the question, Steven, don't hate me for this first commercial because it's got Richard Dolan in it.
Ryan is one of Canada's leading new UFO investigators.